Hey y'all, my name's Phil Manofsky. I'm a third year mechanical engineering student at ASU Online, and I'm making this video because I want to help out my fellow mechanical engineering students, but this will be useful for anyone who is seeking an internship or a job and has a lot of applications to keep track of. Anyways, because I'm going into my fourth year as an engineering student, I really wanted to land a summer internship for this summer. And at first, I wasn't really being organized about it at all, so I didn't have like a spreadsheet. Um, and, you know, I didn't really expect to have to apply to this many internships, but currently the job market's kind of difficult. So over time, the amount of applications I put out there were kind of getting to be really large and hard to keep track of which positions I've already applied for versus which ones I haven't. So I made a spreadsheet, and over time that spreadsheet has gotten kind of to be pretty useful for me. So I decided I wanted to make a template that I can share with the other students in this program, but also any student really, like anyone who's seeking a job might be able to get some benefits from using this. Anyways, so here's my template. First off, I'm going to share a link to this template in the description of the video, so you'll be able to open it, but you'll only be able to look at it as a viewer. You only have viewing privileges. So if you want to use this template, first thing you're going to need to do is make your own copy, which you can do by going up to hitting File and then go down to Make a Copy, and then you can type the name of whatever you want it to be and then hit Make a Copy. So once you open your copy, you'll be able to edit it. They'll no longer be linked. You can kind of think of it as a fork in the road. Once you make a copy, it's not like if I make changes to this template in the future, it'll affect your copy. Your copy is now entirely your own, and you can do whatever you want with it. So let me go over how this spreadsheet works. These are all fake jobs. I just kind of had them generated so that I could have some data in here for you guys to look at. Just to give you an example of how the spreadsheet works. First, there's two sheets. There's an applications sheet, so you can keep track of all your applications. And down here is the data summary sheet, and it just keeps track of the total number of applications you have in your list, the ones you haven't applied for yet, the ones you have applied for yet, and then of the ones you've already applied for, which of them are pending, which of them have been denied, which of them, how many of them have gotten interview offers, and then the final number is how many offers you've received. And then it also keeps track of your average wait time for responses. So if you, first column is identifier. So let me show you an example. So like, let's say you have a LinkedIn page and you're using LinkedIn for your job search. By the way, it's really helpful to use when you're using LinkedIn. I'm going to include this link in the description of the video too, but you can use Boolean search operators on LinkedIn. So you can really get very specific about what kind of keywords you want in your search and which ones you don't want in your search, which is super useful. And so you can set up very specific searches that look for, summer internships, or you can have keywords like engineer, engineering, summer 2025, intern, internship. You can make it a combination of all those or whatever you want. And then what you do is you set up your search and then you hit set alert right here. And now every time a new job posts that matches your search criteria, you get an email about it, which is really useful. So let's say you find a job that stands out to you and looks good, and you want to apply to it. So you hit apply and it takes you to the external career site. You'll notice that like for this position, there's a job title and an ID number. So a lot of these internships, like I've applied to dozens of internships with General Dynamics, and a lot of them have very similar title names, position names. So it's really important to keep track of this ID number so that you know exactly which positions you have and haven't applied for. So as an example, I'm just going to go ahead and make this entry into the spreadsheet. So I'm going to copy the ID number and I'm going to add a new row, paste it in the bottom. So the ID number's in there. I'm going to type in the company name, General Dynamics Mission Systems, and then the job title, which is Manufacturing Engineering Intern. Now, I could go ahead and apply to this job, right? And then I could mark it as having been applied to, but I'm not going to do that yet because right now I'm just looking for open positions that sound interesting to me. The reason I don't really want to apply to it yet is because I'm probably going to find multiple positions at this one company that I like, and it would be nicer to just kind of apply to them all at the same time so that I'm not switching between different career sites. I'm not applying at one position at Boeing and then coming back to like Lockheed Martin and then switching back to Boeing, and then that just it's kind of inefficient. So make a list of all these different positions that sound interesting to you, and then you can sort them by company name, and then you can start with the ones that have the companies that have the most positions that are interesting to you. This is kind of just more efficient with your time. You get more applications out there quicker because I mean if you make an account on a careers site for General Dynamics, then you can it'll save your resume and your cover letter so that you can kind of apply that to every application. And so the first application takes a while, but then the subsequent ones at that same site are a lot quicker. So that's how I recommend you do it. You can do it however you want, but at minimum, it's a good idea to keep track of this stuff. I think there's like a space in front of this number. Yeah. So what's nice about having this number in here is like, say you're just kind of searching on LinkedIn and you come across a position, you're like, have I applied to this yet? You click on it, you can just kind of copy this number, go to your spreadsheet, do Control F to do a search of the sheet, and then once you paste it, it shows it like, oh yeah, it's already in here. And no, I have not yet applied to it because I haven't marked this applied yet, but I'm at least aware that I've seen it before. Or you might select this one up here and be like, yep, you've already applied for it. Great, so you don't have to waste your time trying to apply for it a second time. So let me show you how the process, like these different columns work. Once you get all your interested positions listed in here, the ones that you haven't applied for yet will be in black, and then as you apply to them and they make their way through the process, they'll change colors automatically depending on what kind of response they get. So let's say I just applied to that position like today. So I'll click applied, I go to date applied. Once you click in the date box, a calendar dialog pops up and you can just hit the date. And then I'll mark this as pending. And when I do that, it turns orange. And you just kind of leave it there until you get an email. The email might take 2 weeks, it might take 6 weeks, or you may never get one. And I have a ton of applications that are still left on pending. But let's say you get an email and it's a denial. So you would just convert this to deny and it would change to red. And then once you get the denial email, you'd come in here and you select the date that you got the response. And then this response time column up here automatically populates with it subtracts the date applied from the date of response, and you get a number of days that have elapsed since the application was submitted to the date of response. So this is 0 because I just put the same date in. Let's put an earlier date in here, like, I don't know, March something. So now it says 29 days. What's cool about this is that when you go over to your data and summary sheet, it has updated the average wait time automatically. It just takes a sum of that whole, the average of the values in that column. And now you have another one marked as a denial. So you can keep track of how many denials you have, how many applications are still pending, how many interviews you've been offered, and how many jobs you've been offered. So these are all just, I think it's useful to have these kind of statistics. So yeah, once you get denied, obviously you're not going to be checking this offer box at the end. But when you do check it, it automatically changes it to green and then adds the offer to this row on your data analysis sheet. But that wouldn't make sense to get denied and then select offered. So I'm going to uncheck that. Let's say that instead of getting a denial response, you were offered an interview. So you'd select interview, the date that you received the interview request, and then it would just change to purple and it would stay there until you got offered a position or not. And if you did get offered, then you would check it as an offer and it would turn green. So that is how to use this spreadsheet. I'm trying to think of if there's anything else I really need to go over. Yeah, so these are all fake jobs. You would just erase the entries for them and type in your own stuff. What's cool is when you add a new row, it just automatically formats it with the check boxes and the drop down, so you don't need to do that every time. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it all. So yeah, if you guys have any suggestions on how I can improve this, please let me know in the comments. But yeah, I think this is kind of useful to know, like especially the average wait time. Say like you can, like I have hundreds of applications and you know I think 80 of them are still. I think my total is like 158 applications and half of them are still pending. So it's nice to know what the average wait time is so that I can kind of expect when I'll be getting more responses from the ones that are still pending. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. All right, thanks for watching.